Welcome back everybody once again. This is the second series of the game. It is a different group but same tournament, GameShow Invitational, best of 3 series. It is the GSL format kind of style. If you know what it means, then it's all good. If you don't, it's maybe a little bit hard to explain without having visual aspects to it as well, but you have to win 2 best of 3s to advance. That's pretty much how easy it is, I suppose. You can win or lose rather 1 best of 3, but you have to win 2 best of 3s to advance to the playoffs. But it is 4Clover and Leprechaun going up against Charmander, the Infernal Dragon. Well, now I know what CTID at least stands for. And I love the logo as well, I have to say. But as said, this is the GameShow Invitational. Huge shout out, of course, to the sponsors, Aces, eBattle, Plantronics, SP as well, and just making this thing even happen. 15,000 USD on the line here, so quite a bit of money. And one thing I extremely like is that the prize distribution is up to the 6th team. The 5th and 6th teams get $500, 4th gets 1,000, then 2.5k for the 3rd, 3.5 for the 2nd, and 7,000 for the 1st place. So even if you don't win, even if you don't finish top 3, you're still gonna get some kind of money, so that's awesome. But of course, we're your English coverage, HeflaTV, I'm Couchor, and I am gonna be joined by GrandisV. Do you think we're gonna see something awesome this game?
I should hope so. There's a lot of very well-known names inside this game, and some very fun players, very individually skilled and very entertaining in their play. I'm not disappointed in the slightest with what CTID actually means. But yeah, just some very familiar faces. We're going to start off this draft with Undying and Witch Doctor for Charmander, the Infernal Dragon, and Visage IO for 4CL.
Oh, getting IO is so scary, at least if the team can utilize that. But I mean, IO and Visage, both of them, it's gonna be just lots of global presence. First of all, just split pushing with the familiars, for example. Maybe they're even gonna get somebody who's gonna just have Boots of Travels, go to the familiars, that way get even more global presence. I don't know, maybe Nature's Prophet to come. But IO in itself already feels scary. But then again, Charmander, man, Undying is there for them, as is the Witch Doctor, so all is fine. Paralyzing Cast definitely is a nice way to deal with the IO, because IO usually when you tether to somebody, you're gonna be coming pretty close, so Paralyzing Cast should at least get a couple of bounces going.
Yeah, and they're going to further secure their Undying pick by banning like heroes that very easily deal with the Zombie Tombstone, with the Gyrocopter and Bristleback, very easily able to kill off the zombies with Flat Cannon and Quills, respectively. Jakiro going to be the pickup next for them, a very aggressive flavor to their lineup. I have no idea who's going to be getting the farm on the Charmander side at the moment. Probably Undying, but the chances of a core Jakiro are also there, although I haven't seen it personally for quite some time.
I haven't even seen a support Shakira for quite some time, so it's definitely hard to say. But in this new patch, pretty much anything can work. Maybe you can be a little bit skeptical about some certain things, but if the team has just practiced it, if they know what they're doing, why the hell not? But 4Clover now, just going for the clockwork also, all in general, just a solid hero.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to give them a way to start fights very easily, and Witch Doctor in particular is very easy food for the Clockwork if you can isolate that hero alone. It also gives you a long-range way to cancel Death Ward channeling even through BKB, if that ever becomes a consideration for them. Charmander going to pick up his Spirit Breaker next. If their lineup wasn't aggressive already, I think this pretty much takes the cake as about as aggressive as you can get feasibly inside a Dota draft.
Yeah, and of course up against an IO, it's a pretty nice way as well to just do things, just because IO, his power is really from level 6 onwards, or earlier on as well. You can help out with just the extra regen going through, just tether using your bottle and whatnot, but relocate and just the global presence, the threat of it, is the main part of an IO. But Charmander, maybe they can just get already elite before IO even gets that level 6.
Yeah, very well. At the moment, we're just going to be waiting for 4CL's next pick. At the moment, they're fairly damaged light as far as their actual scaling damage throughout the game, although Clockwork, IO, and Visage are respectable in their own right. We're going to see a Queen of Pain picked up 4th, and honestly, I'm surprised that it slipped through this far. A very potent hero, and it's going to fix that weakness in their draft by quite a bit. We're still lacking the IO partner for 4CL. Ideally, it would be a Bristleback, and I don't think there's another hero that fits that bill exactly, but pretty much anything could be nice for them, although most IO partners are prone to getting kited around and generally very annoyed by Jakiro and dying in particular.
It's hard to choose a companion at the moment. I suppose like Phantom Assassin maybe because just Blink striking around or Phantom striking around. I can't even remember what it's called at the moment, but they're gonna ban out the Slark instead. Slark definitely is also rather slippery there. You can Dark Pact yourself through Ice Pamps, for example, and just popping your Shadow Dance to avoid some of those disables as well. But 4 Clover, what are they even afraid of at the moment? If you look at Charmander's lineup, you're like, yeah, most heroes can just play any kind of role, so what 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 do you make of the roles of Charmander? I mean, what would you ban out? Well, it's gonna wow, okay. Warlock
I
ban?
actually am really okay with this ban. It would be a very scary hero for Charmander to pick up because it looks like they do want to just 5-man Dota non-stop. Although Warlock is a hero that we don't see banned very often, the value you'd get from Fatal Bonds and that Chaotic Offering is ridiculous this game, I think. And it's not something that 4 Clover are very well equipped to deal with, and I think a reasonable ban, in all honesty.
It definitely isn't too bad at the moment because you drop the rock, you just kill the IO almost immediately with a little bit of follow-up there, I suppose. But Charmander, well, they're down to their 5th pick. They have plenty of reserve time. They almost had identical reserve time left, just 1 second above what 4 Clover had themselves. But if they really want to just keep on 5-manning, what is even the best hero they could go for now? They already have the Witch Doctor for that Voodoo Restoration, just keep them healthy that way. Maybe something with like proper lockdown in dealing with the Queen of Pain now?
I would like to see a Necrophos for Charmander. Although I hate the hero, I think it kind of fits the playstyle that they're going to be looking for, and scales decently well with farm, even though their scaling damage would be hurt somewhat. It's just so scary to go up against.
It's a hero that we definitely haven't seen all that much, and the crazy thing is that the hero wasn't played at all, then was extremely popular and suddenly fell off, although I don't think anything was changed about that hero. I suppose teams just kind of figured it out, or they didn't let the IO through anymore, because IO Necrophos combination was rather sick, the heal was just unbearable for the enemy side. But we'll see if they want to go for that one. They're definitely taking a long time, so who knows what they're going to come up with.
Yeah, it's completely up to them. I'm not sure what way they're going to flavor this draft. Maybe it's going to be somewhat of a 4 fight to protect 1 lineup where they look for something with some extreme late game scaling. As 4 Clover don't really have anything to directly combat that in their draft now, but since they do have the last pick, maybe they'll shy away from that. Instead, it's going to be a Brewmaster. He functions in a similar fashion to just that 5-man teamfight hero, and is probably going to be their safe lane farmer, or at the very least farming in some form or fashion for 4CL. It's going to be an Ursa. This is going to be your IO partner, and one that I expect we'll see a lot more of. The new ultimate for Ursa is ridiculous at getting Roshan, and ridiculous in fights. The damage reduction is obscene.
It certainly is, and I mean, I don't know, Ursa, it's... I think I saw an Ursa this morning, actually. It was for the WCA American qualifier. It was going for I don't know how long, just because all the games were going to the 3rd and last one. But at Ursa, you just jump in with the overpower and you just insta-keep somebody more or less if you have enough items by that point. And if you look at Charmander, I guess like Spirit Breaker and Brewmaster can maybe take the harassment, although Jakiro is also rather tanky for the hero that he is. But Ursa, if he even a little gets out of hand, he's just gonna chew through all of those heroes.
Well, at the moment, we're going to go ahead and introduce our teams on the dire side. It is going to be 4 Clovers and a Leprechaun. BZZ is going to be playing on that Ursa, Sexy Bambo on the Clockwork, Wagamama on the Queen of Pain, Yol going to be playing the Visage, and Vanscore on the IO. Individually, these players are very good. I'm excited to see them play.
Yeah, as for CTID, we're gonna see Seiga playing the Brewmaster, leaving Kwonk on the Undying, Bogdan to be the Spirit Breaker with Madara Uchiha on the Witch Doctor, and the last one who hasn't picked up his hero yet is gonna be Zamena playing the Jakiro.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game. I quite like Charmander's lineup, but I think they're the ones that have a little bit more pressure onto them. 4CL don't really have much pressure to end this game early. The Ursa and Queen of Pain should be able to scale pretty much indefinitely, especially when backed up by an IO, and Visage also gets very potent late game, which you get Aghanim, Scepter, Assault Cuirass, things along those lines, or maybe that new medallion item, get up the Solar Crest for that extra bit of evasion, but even so, yeah, this is fairly even in draft, I want to say. Maybe even a slight edge towards Charmander, in all honesty. I think their lanes are just looking very solid.
Yeah, it really depends on if they can actually get the farm as well, to just get that early blink for the Brewmaster, get the mech on really any of their heroes as well, just anything that would help them fight early on, whereas 4CL now, so Sexy Bambo, gonna run with the help of the tethered movement speed, gonna place down a ward somewhere, a rather deep one as well, but wow, maybe a little bit too deep now, gonna run into a couple of heroes, gonna try to back off and may get caught, nope, just fast enough to escape.
In the laning stage, it would be really interesting if we see the IO and the Clockwork stick together. I think they just walked out here to get that extra ward up, but IO partnered with Clockwork in lane is actually very potent and very easily able to apply pressure if one of the supports gets caught out alone. Although I don't think we're going to see it. That would be interesting, and we might see that synergy. Clockwork with the extra movement speed is a force to be reckoned with. When you're moving at 427 with Battery Assault, there's not much you can do on a support, especially one that's with so little HP as a Witch Doctor. Benny down towards bottom is going to be sat on very aggressively by Charmander, whereas the one up towards top is going to be sat on by Clover. Wagamama should be getting the bounty rune for them, and bottom looks like Bogdan's going to get that extra bit. Cog's going to be picked up, and Sexy Bambo steals the bounty. Oh my goodness, Aya is going to get the bounty up towards top, so Vanscore is going to get the guaranteed bottle, and 4CL already with a slight gold and experience advantage.
So you get double bounty runes, you are 66% or something like that, 60 to 65, I don't know. Something along those lines anyways to just win the game. So for Clover, they almost have it in the bag already thanks to getting those bounty runes.
I wouldn't go so far to say that it's in the bag at the moment, even though that's going to help a lot.
Stats don't lie, man, 60 something percent.
I mean, it's a fair advantage for sure, but these lanes, even with that slight extra bit of gold for Clover, is still pretty problematic up towards top. Kwonk is going to end up stealing a lot of decay stacks from Yol as well as Vanscore, paralyzing cask bounces once apiece to each of the heroes coming out from them, but they should be able to sustain themselves. Io is still sitting on 3 bottle charges.
So for this mid lane here, we do have the Jakiro up against the Queen of Pain, and Jakiro can be extremely abusive with that Liquid Fire, although Liquid Fire I do believe was nerfed a little bit for 6.83 already. But even then, what do you think of this matchup? Is it still like a Queen of Pain favored one? Or never mind, y'all might go down here, Paralyzing Cast gonna bounce to him and then to the creeps. One more punch and that's gonna be first blood claimed by the Undying.
Yeah, that's going to pretty much negate any advantage they got from those early veterans. BZZ chasing forward for Madeira. Looks like he can't find him, although now partnered up with the IO. He's going to get in range for the Earthshock. He smacks him once, smacks him twice. They probably need another 2, and they should be able to get it. That's going to be BZZ drawing blood up towards top, tying up the kill score 1-1. Kwonk trying to run away. Looks like he's going to be able to make this out, although, yeah, they're going to end up turning around. That's completely acceptable. Probably don't want to be chasing out and dying, especially when IO only has 200 HP, even though he has seemingly above half HP. That's scary.
I didn't even notice that, although Spirit Breaker might lose his life, slowed down by that Shadow Strike, but Haste Rune I think was bottled up now, yes by the IO, but he's gonna tether to the Queen of Pain instead, and with this I don't think they can get the kill. Dual Breath will not connect on the IO though, just the Liquid Fire, but I think they could have gotten the kill had he just chased on the Ursa there, or instead of the Overcharge maybe had the Spirit, but in the end, doesn't matter that much, but nobody was really getting any XP or gold for the dire side top lane in the meantime.
Yeah, this is going to leave a little bit of space for the Charmander side, but in the end, I think that trade is more or less even. The big winners are down towards bottom. Brewmaster left 1v1 versus the Clockwork. Both of these heroes are going to be very happy that they are 1v1, and, well, maybe a little bit less now that Sexy Bambo's isolated, but the Brewmaster's fighting like a champ. Battery Assault or not, he's going to run you down with the Orb of Venom. He gets that kill. Holy cow, I'm pretty sure the Clockwork intended to bounce back the Brewmaster, but it ends up getting caged in with an angry Panda Bear.
So 4CL not looking all that hot at the moment. They're losing in kills, but they get the slow on Kwonk, and suddenly BZZ, he's gonna run in as well. He's gonna get that Earthquake, although Vanscore drops slow himself thanks to Bogdan just charging in, so it's gonna be 1-for-1 trade. But Undying was in the farming role as BZZ now. He's the one getting bashed and might even lose his life, whereas, well, everybody else is healthy. Wagamama gets the kill on Jakiro though, but there's another charge. BZZ drops even lower still. But with the Grave Chill slowing down Bogdan, he's gonna be fine, and suddenly Vanscore comes in with the tether, with the bottle regen, and now it's Madara's time to run away, but the Paralyzing Cask buys a lot of time. Another decay gets, I think, now only 2. But CTID just hanging around for a little bit too long there.
Yeah, Yol was able to get a very good body block off onto the Witch Doctor, so Paralyzing Cask or not, they're going to end up losing their lives. Conk is still sticking around on this Undying, and rightfully so, he's doing just fine for himself, but although 4CL are struggling maybe a bit in bottom and mid, they're still doing alright across the map, and I think this is within the realm of acceptable loss, although Charmander are also not going to be too sad. At the moment, this advantage of about 500 gold and experience for 4CL is actually pretty surprising to me, but regardless, we'll just have to see how this pans out. Clockwork looks like you got to bounce back off onto the Brewmaster down towards bottom. No killing potential from either side, in all honesty. Brewmaster doesn't have enough mana for Clap, no points in Drunken Haze, and Sexy Bamboo should be able to run out of here.
It should be fine for now, but I kind of like Brewmaster even going for a Soul Ring now, just because even if you get pushed out by the cogs and completely lose your mana, if you're level 6 you can just pop the Soul Ring and then the Primal Split afterwards and survive anyway. So it's gonna be rather fine that way. Bad Result, of course, is a little bit annoying and may still just kind of end with the death for you. BZZ, Paralyzing Cask, but no follow-up by the Undying. Although Yol gonna come in from this side, but I think Konk, oh never mind, if they get the Grave Chill and the Quake to follow, they do indeed. This should be a kill, I think. And Konk will go down after the Soul Assumption and a few more attacks.
They'll try to focus down the Undying Tombstone. BBCC dropped very low. Is going to get wrecked by zombies. Now Yol, too, is getting eaten alive. Witch Doctor going to secure yet another kill. That Tombstone got so much value.
Wow, that's... I was like, okay, easy kill. Now they're just, with the 3 of them, gonna focus the Tombstone, and suddenly death happened. Just getting a little bit too greedy, wanting to get the Tombstone as well, whereas I think they could have backed off if they wanted to.
They had so many zombies on them, I don't think they could have run away from that, in all honesty. If they try running, it probably goes worse. Or just as bad, I should say.
Well, BZZ
Charge
now,
up towards top.
Oh. But they don't have the Paralyzing Cask anymore, and there's the Earth Shock to slow them down, and he's just gonna run away. Wagamama comes in, does he have a Sonic Wave? Shit does. Now Kwonk gets slowed down by the Shadow Strike. It is level 2 as well, but not that easy to blow up the Undying when he has at least 2 just stacks. Although in the meantime, Vanscore does get the kill on the Brewmaster with Sexy Bamboo.
No mana to use the ultimate in that situation, and I think he already used his Soul Ring for a clap. That was without Hookshot as well. Clockwork was just able to get that run down onto him. Ursa dropping down up towards top as Bogdan is able to get that kill. The Tombstone's on the deck. Only one zombie is going to be summoned, and it's for neutral creeps. That hardly does anything. They won't be able to get any further kills, but BCZ is disconnected. We should have a pause here pretty soon. Hopefully we'll be able to get back to this game. The early game has been a slugfest for both sides, in all honesty, and really I don't think either team has pulled ahead in any significant fashion. 7-6, a slight CS lead for the Jakiro and Brewmaster, but even so, I think they're making up for the fact that 4CL are also getting a decent amount of experience on all 3 of their cores, whereas this Spirit Breaker is maybe struggling a little bit more. The biggest issue for 4CL, in my eyes, is that IO and Visage are going to be very delayed in getting their level 6s.
Yeah, it's probably going to be true, but at the moment, this is one of the more aggressive games I've seen in quite some time. Having 13 kills, 6 minutes in, so more than 2 kills per minute. Just barely, but even then. So it's something that I do enjoy seeing, but still, there's no meching coming anytime soon if anybody's even going for it for Charmander there. But at least Jakiro having a good time, and whenever Queen of Pain is leaving this lane, this tier 1 is taking heavy damage, and that's just something you have to consider as well. And once this tier 1 goes down, I do expect Jakiro to just focus on another lane after that.
Alrighty then. So we're just kind of in the same situation that we have been for the longest of times, even though Queen of Pain's been roaming a little bit more aggressively than the Jakiro. She's still maintaining an experience lead over aforementioned Jakiro. The tier 1 tower in mid is about at half HP and eventually will fall down, as you've already mentioned. That's a nice infusion of gold for the Charmander's side. Maybe that's going to be enough to get the ball rolling, but I think the biggest item that they need is Brewmaster's Blink, and that's not going to come out for quite some time. He has backed off for some of these small items, Soul Ring and Orb of Venom.
Yeah, and that definitely also setting the Brewmaster back quite a bit. Just lots of farming time lost with that. Not only that, Clockwork just gets some free time of his own, and with the hookshot and him carrying a TP, may be able to assist that next dive coming in on the top side. Just because this top tri lane has been working out rather well. Ursa, while KDA, I guess it's like even-ish. All is synergized, 2, 2, and 2 there. But you definitely wouldn't like to die if you're in a defensive kind of tri lane, but then again, it's like mostly 2 heroes from 4 Clover being on the top lane.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, at the moment, we're just chilling. I really don't have much else to contribute for the time being. The big tools for either side to get online and get super aggressive are already somewhat up for 4CL. You have a Queen of Pain that's sitting at almost level 70. You have a Clockwork with a Shook Shot available. Although you'd love to have Relocate to get the Ursa into these fights, the Clockwork and Queen of Pain by themselves can already do a decent chunk of work. I have no idea what's going on with BZZ, but hopefully it's going to be resolved. I haven't seen enough Ursa in this patch to know what the normal build is. At the moment, Ursa's sitting on 2-1-2.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I mean, the Urshok is pretty nice. The slow does increase by 10% per level. Damage-wise, maybe not as much. If you get into multiple heroes, it's worth it though. But Overpower and Fierce Swipes is what used to be maxed in most cases, I think. It's hard to call. The Earthquake or Earthshock rather definitely helps you in chasing when you're also tethered up, so you're just suddenly so much faster than the enemy. But for now, doesn't have lifesteal to work with or anything. And speaking of lifesteal, Ursa, do you still go for that Vladimir's offering, or do you actually go Helm of the Dominator?
I really like getting Vlad's one per team on pretty much every lineup now that the ranged heroes also benefit from the lifesteal. So I think it's worth getting the Vlads, but he can do the Roshan with just the Morbid Mask. Once you get Morbid Mask in level 6 on Ursa at the moment, you can do Roshan so very quickly if you're willing to commit in Rage. It's going to be a little bit slower since he has gone for the 2 points into Earthshock instead of like 1-2-2 or some variation thereof, not involving the second point into Earthshock. But even so, it's so very consistent that even by himself, he can go ahead and do that. And with a little bit of sustain from the IO, he can do that without any worry of being bashed and killed. And so Charmander are going to have to keep constant eyes around the Roche Pit. They have a ward, but that in and of itself is not going to be enough to scout. They would have loved to have something like a Clockwork on their side so that they can keep eyeballs inside the pit. Ideally, it would have been a Beastmaster, but if I recall correctly, that was first ban.
Yeah, probably was indeed. Definitely was banned out in the first phase at least, but it doesn't really matter if it's first or second ban as long as it's the first phase, in all fairness. Some teams are just lazy maybe with banning it out straight away, but BZZ, if I recall correctly, he is kind of famous for disconnecting every game. At least somehow my memory has it in it that BZZ almost disconnects all the time.
Sounds about right. I don't think there's anybody that's going to disagree. Hopefully he's going to sort out his issues and we'll be able to get back in shortly. Yeah,
it's the
awkward.
casual, like, Bogdan, the Spirit Breaker, was asking, internet? Y'all was like, yeah, 30 seconds. Then, like, 5 minutes later, yeah, he's coming, I swear.
Pretty much. I mean, I don't know. Internet and the likes is always somewhat of a, I don't know, wish-washy area. There's no black or white about it.
Yeah, it's not like LAN tournaments are better all the time just because suddenly there are hardware issues and everything. At least if you're playing from home, you know the exact setup you're working with. So it's really only the internet messing up for the most part at least, but even at LANs, the internet can mess up. And also just the PCs there, but PC has reconnected, and at least after reconnecting, the start was fast.
Oh, very well. We're going to get back into the game, and hopefully the action is going to continue. Although the pause does throw a wrench into things, things will go on much as they have been for the rest of the game. Sexy Bambo is making his way into mid. The Jakiro is currently crowing his bottle, so he doesn't have that extra bit of regen. This could be a fairly easy gank for the Clockwork if he can line up that hook shot. The follow-up damage from Queen of Pain is immense. If GG well played walks up the creep wave, I'm tempted to say he's just dead, or Sexy Bambo can just blind hook it under tower. He's going to smack that one home. And well, with the double damage on Queen of Pain, that's probably one of the easiest kills that they found. That was, if I'm not mistaken, completely blind. They had no ward vision under the tower and just expected that to be where the Jakiro was. I'm
not entirely sure. Maybe he used the Rocket Flare just before, but I'm inclined to say that it was also a blind hook there. Of course, it's really Sexy Bambo-ish, that play. Just go for a random hook. Doesn't care if it's on cooldown, if it misses there. But it was definitely worth it, getting the kill there. Wagamama was even a little bit low on mana, couldn't use the Scream of Pain, but double damage making up for that lack there. So they get the kill, but in the meantime, Brewmaster just enjoying his free time bottom lane. Up to 36 last hits now, 800 gold, give or take. So he definitely wants to get that blink. Not gonna be the fastest blink, but then again, he did also go for the Orb of Venom and the Soul Ring before.
Up towards top, Undying is also going to be enjoying a little bit of farm as he's gotten a little bit of space in the downtime in this top lane. He's going to commit that gold into a bottle and a headdress, presumably mechanism up for the Undying sooner rather than later. Well, things have really slowed down. Clockwork Hookshot's going to be on cooldown for quite some time, or actually no, it's back online already. Mistiming that, I apologize, but even so, 4C&L don't seem to be really waiting, or not really antsy to get anything done at the moment. They're just farming up on their Ursa and waiting until he gets his first major items.
Yeah, maybe just waiting for that Morbid Mask you were talking about, just get that one, go into Roshan with the IO there. And even if IO isn't level 6 at the time, going into it may be even better because of that, since once you emerge from Roshan victorious, you're gonna have that IO being on level 6 as well, although Undying, never mind, just went to the side shop to pick up something. For a second I was like, is he really gonna go check the trees and find the IO there? Paralyzing Cask will bounce, but only once to BZZ. Still the creep wave taking huge amounts of damage, but is that really what CTID even wanted? Because it's just gonna push out the lane towards the dire side, which makes it that much harder for you to get killed.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have to give up their hopes, but now tethered up, the Ursa is going to be running headlong into the Undying. They're charging into PZZ. Spear Breaker comes in from the sidelines. There's a Clockwork in the middle of all of this, spotted out by a Sentry Ward. They'll cancel out that charge coming out from Bogdan, and although a lot of posturing has been done up in the top lane, nothing's actually exploded. They'll leave the mid heroes to their own devices. There's going to be some old chat exchange.
Yeah, they were just laughing at the Clockwork. But, well, it's pretty clear, I think, where the sentry is as well, or it should be. But Seximo not giving up, still hanging about his pinging, like, there's a sentry, guys, there is definitely a sentry, but his presence there at least helps keep CTID back, which gives just easy free farm to Ursa.
Well, at the moment, things have really slowed down. Two heroes in mid lane sitting there for either side, and really the big winner in all of these exchanges is the Brewmaster. He's currently almost up at his Blink Dagger. He's been left completely alone in the bottom lane. His farming as there's a jump up top with a hook shot. They'll catch out Undying. He drops a Tombstone, fights the best of his ability, but Quank is going to be smacked down by BZC and Clock. Sexy Bamboo is now on a killing spree as they have a charge. I believe that was cancelled, however. Spearbreaker deciding better of going in there.
It's actually a pretty huge blow if you die pretty fast like that, but you still use the Tombstone, because the Tombstone does give quite a bit of gold to the enemy as well while at it. And with this BCC, does get the Morbid Mask, level 7, and looking strong in general. Sexy Mambo gonna safeguard the rune for now. Vanscore gonna bottle it up. Are they running 3 bottles this game? Indeed they are.
Yeah, and I think that's completely fine, although it might be a little bit awkward. They're playing aggressively enough to the point where I think they can end up pulling that through, and even if they don't get bottle refills with the runes, I is going to be going back to base enough to where you can get that extra refill, and it's just such a good item to have on all of their heroes. The extra sustain is wonderful. We have a medallion up for the Visage and a Blink Dagger up for the Charmander. Out of those two items, the Blink is going to be more important. He's going to use that to get a kill with the split on the aforementioned Visage. He did pick up the Familiars beforehand. Now the split's going to wear off, but Brewmaster is more than healthy enough to survive here, although he doesn't have a lot of mana. It's going to blink down towards the south. Hook shot, well landed by Sexy Bamboo. Gets in that blink range, and now going to bounce back into a handful of Familiars. Dropping low, the Familiars have taken a decent chunk of their... It's required to die, but in the end, they're going to survive. And it's just going to be a pick off for Charmander. Good hook shot, but although there's no follow-up.
Yeah, they needed it to land a little bit earlier, or rather they needed the Rocket Flare to land, cancel the blink, and then get the hook shot when he was in front of the tower, so to say. But it is still some space created because Vanscore and BCC are in Roche Pit. Familiars drop down as well there. BCC not doing the most damage because Fury Swipes is only level 2 for now. But it's going down, like I said, maybe not the fastest one, but should be a guaranteed one nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely so. He didn't commit the ultimate for that, so it's a little bit slower than it could have been, but it's still going to get them the Aegis just the same. Vladimir's offering Recipe is currently in the courier, and he's just the headdress away from having that completed and on his person. So that should be flying out in just a mere matter of seconds. It's a pretty big win for 4C&L. 8-8, we're tied up in the kill score, but that extra gold infusion for the team is going to be ever so nice. Midas going to be picked up by the clock. Pretty interesting coming out from Sexy Bambo, but getting level 11 and subsequently level 16 on your clock is always wonderful, and as a hero doesn't farm very fast, so that guaranteed gold income is going to be very nice.
I definitely agree with you there, but oh, never mind. The charge was on her, or him, but got out just in time. Blinked over the ice path there as well, I think, and if you're past like the tier 1, the charge by itself definitely doesn't do enough at that point, but Queen of Pain, double damage activated. Going for the Orchid as well. In the meantime, Bogdan looked like he was charging something again, but forced to cancel it, just because they did see PCC and Vanscore close by.
Alrighty then, double damage runes activated on Waga in mid lane, but even with that, there's no way they can defend this tower, but getting it denied is a lot easier, although not when you're missing so many attacks. They're going to glyph up the tower, drop a decay into Waga, and now pause. Alrighty then, I've seen this screen before, hopefully it's not going to be around for much longer. Sexy Bambo is hookshotting mid-animation right now. Such an awkward time to pause. We can take a look at the vision from either team, and well, he's spotted out, so they know exactly where the clock is. This hookshot should connect if everything goes as planned. The tower might get denied out by the Queen of Pain, although that's a little bit less likely.
So it's gonna rather target the Chikiro, right? The hookshot?
I would be tempted to say so, although hookshot sometimes is a little bit wonky. It might hit the Undying. Is Queen of Pain bugged out on your screen? I can't actually see her, but let's see where this hook lands. It's going to go straight on into Undying. Konk is going to be caught out. Now the Sonic Wave over 2, they'll be able to bring down that Undying quickly. And now the Brewmaster, before he's able to split, Battery Assault completely stopping anything. A 4-0. 4 Clover is going to take a big fight there off the back of that hookshot initiation. Even though Charmanders knew what was going on, they could not prepare for it. That Brewmaster not getting off his split is backbreaking.
Wow, that fight, it all happened so fast as well. It felt like it was all over in an instant. So that pause maybe helped 4C a little bit, but it really felt like they had the positions and the same plan in mind already beforehand. So really nicely done, Sonic Wave. Just the range of it is so huge. Sexy Bambo wants to catch up to Mother, but not able to do so. So gonna be forced to back out, but there's a charge incoming. It's gonna run past Sexy Bambo. Nether Strike is not gonna be there. And with the Power Cox pushing them back, Sexy Bambo might survive, maybe. There's the Death Ward getting the kill, but Bogdan is gonna lose his own life, I believe. The Tombstone helps a little bit, but BCC I think still has the Aegis. Indeed he does, but Yol is gonna lose his life. Got the Familiars, got the Tombstone with them, but might lose both the Familiars after.
The bigger issue is losing BZZ. Drop down back to Earth is going to fight for all he's worth. Will lose the Aegis. Can they get him the second life? Brewmaster and everybody decides not. Ice Path is going to stun him as he comes back up, but BZZ is a little too scary on this Ursa Warrior. That's going to be a buyback on the Clockwork after
please.
dying.
Bambo. That's classic Bambo, really, I have to say.
Well, in the end, it's going to make this trade a little bit less attractive for Clovers, but it's still acceptable, I suppose, although they would have liked to use that Aegis a little bit more aggressively and getting a fight on their own terms. Charge in, they'll find the IO. Vanscore is going to be bailed up by a hookshot, however, Cogsing bolt him away. Can he make his way out of here? The Urn Charge is taking him down as Bambo is trying to focus down the Brew. Brew is going to go down, and now Bogdan also going to lose his life. Smackdown, double kill for Bambo. He's running up towards the north. The tick damage for Jakiro is pretty immense as the Queen of Pain's focusing down the Undying. Vanscore dies to a couple of zombies, but then again, the big zombie is going to end up losing his life too as they bring in the Ursa from the sidelines. 1 for 3. Can they chase down any more? The Witch Doctor and Jakiro are here, but they probably don't want to be. Jakiro's out in front, Sexy Bambo chasing forward with the Paralyzing Cast bouncing. It takes 1 bounce to the Familiars, and with the Sun landing onto 2, this might be 2 kills for them. They'll focus down the Witch Doctor first. Very easy doings there. Jakiro won't buy himself the space, but still a big win for 4 Clovers. These fights inside the mid lane have been very well orchestrated.
Yeah, well, unfortunately not by the Radiant side. They're just kind of running in, losing heroes, and they don't have a clear plan in mind, like where to position, what to do. And also, fighting without Primal Split there just feels so much weaker for them as well. But for the next fight, for Charmander, Quonk just now picked up the mech for the Undying, so it's gonna be a little bit better for them. Not entirely sure if it's gonna completely help them out. Especially now that there's an Orchid as well on the Queen of Pain. 15-16 minutes in, a decent timing, like average I should say, although she is #1 in net worth.
Yeah, at the moment, Charmanders are losing a lot of their, I don't know, hold on this game after those last 2 fights. The advantage is now upwards of 7,500 gold and 7,500 experience for the 4 Clovers side, so things are starting to get out of hand. The blink on the Brewmaster wasn't the miraculous item that they kind of needed it to be, in all honesty. Over in the sideline, Sexy Bambo is going to get a hook shot over onto the Witch Doctor, cogs him in, and then Battery Assault should be able to get this tick damage, although there's another strike. The Sonic Wave is going to burst down the Spirit Breaker low. Some healing support from the Undying is not going to be enough. Undying himself is looking to survive, as is the Jakiro trying to run away from the Spirit. They'll kite him around with the Dual Breath. Undying's up towards the north and getting focused down. Can Quunk make it out alive? Flare's going to give them vision, and that's probably all they need. With the Blink Scream, that's a mega kill for Wagga. And, well, for Clover, yet another big fight for them. The game started out so very even, and although slowed down by pauses, it really seems that once 4 Clover found their foothold inside this game, they're not going to let go. They're starting to strangle Charmander. This is looking very difficult.
Yeah, it's almost a 10k lead in both net worth and XP now. Oh, never mind now, as it updates, XP 12,000, net worth just almost 12k as well. Not only that, they're going to get another tower, plus maybe another kill as well. There's the silence, the slow from the Shadow Strike. Overpowered, they don't even need Earth Shock, just easy pickings for them. This relay is falling apart, and that was once again a fight where the Brewmaster, he had the Primal Split, but he just got killed way too fast. Probably the Orchid also had something to do there, but man, 4C&L, they're just taking those fights almost perfectly. And that's like 3-4 fights in a row now.
Take a look at the net worth chart. That's pretty much the story of this game. The only hero that is out farming a hero on the enemy side for 4C&L is all the Brewmaster out farming the IO down towards bottom. BZZ's under Tombstone, fighting like a champ. Will just TP out. Can they boulder toss him? They will. This is a big pickup onto the Ursa for these two heroes, but in the meantime they lose their Spirit Breaker and Jakiro. They're going to catch the Visage as well, focus him down. Yol is also going to die. They have a Death Ward and they're going to use it, whether necessary or not. They also get a handful of familiars on the way out. That's a pretty big victory, and all honesty, that is the step in the right direction that Charmander's really needed to get back into this game. It's going to take a lot more than just that one, but it helps, for sure.
It definitely helps, and actually one thing is that the Tombstone is pretty solid, or at least has proven to be pretty solid in dealing with the familiars. Once lots of zombies just group up and don't have like other targets to go for and start targeting familiars, those 4 hits go down pretty fast as top lane. Oh, Jakiro in so much trouble, Sexy Mambo. Gonna find him another silence by Wagamama. This is almost like exactly what happened on the bottom lane for the Jakiro charge. Gonna get cancelled as well by the Spirit Breaker. And with this, maybe just kill this creep wave and might even get the tier 1 top here.
Yeah, definitely. Alrighty then, we're going to get back into this game. 13 to 25. Charmanders have found a little bit of a edge, but they have to throw all of their ultimates for that. So at the moment, there's a window where Death Ward isn't available for 20 and Split isn't available for 50. Sexy Bambo does have a hookshot primed and ready. I believe he just threw and missed one up towards top. You miss, or you hit some, you miss some. It's just kind of the playstyle of the hero. He has a 4-staff now on top of his Midas, and is going to be working well on his way towards his Aghanims, it seems. 1,600 gold inside the bank.
Well, we do have a Midas now on the Brewmaster as well, so he's also gonna kind of guarantee a little bit of more income, a little bit more levels there. He is number 1 in farm, but Brewmaster, although yes, he can be kind of like a right-click carry as well with the correct items. Oh, meantime, nope. Wagamama gets the blink out before the charge lands, so they're gonna be fine. They got the tower last hit, wasn't denied, made a clean escape, and with this Wagamama, suddenly he's only about 1.1k away from finishing the Aghanims. Those baby mud golems though, man, they look so cute.
I think my favorite thing is watching a Doom devour a mud golem and then dying. He gets little baby Dooms. It's hilarious.
Is it an intended feature though?
I would love it to be. Volvo, please don't fix.
It's how was it called? Like Blizzard in some games. I'm totally blanking on, but it was kind of like an unintended feature or something, but unintended yet necessary feature.
Absolutely necessary. At the moment, Brewmaster going to continue farming up, but maybe in a little bit of peril. There's a hookshot in. It's going to find Witch Doctor inside mid, and well, there's nowhere to run for Madera. Poor Madera is going to be brought down, although Paralyzing Cast will buy in some space, bouncing back and forth from that mud golem. It's not enough. Dominating spree for Sexy Bambo.
It's just Bambo, he did miss that one in the top lane, but I think he's hit every single other one. Or at least from what I've seen, and that's a really high percentage of just landing those hook shots, and some of those have been almost completely blind also. So really well done by Sexy Momo. You can see that he's just feeling comfortable on that hero, and it's going to be another Roshan going down. And Charmander, they were rather close by, but they just had no idea this is going on.
Even if they did, can they contest? Ursa just does that way too quickly. He's going to potentially find initiation down towards bottom with the Orchid. They're going to be able to burst down Brewmaster before he can even hope to get off split. Now chase for a little bit more is Conk on the poor Undying is bursted down in a heartbeat. And now, well, if there was anybody else, they would focus him down. But there was a TP away, I believe, from the Jakiro and a charge away from the Spirit Breaker. Spirit Breaker's home free, but Witch Doctor does not relocate with Sexy Bambo. It looks like he's just going to get run down. Hookshot is going to smack him, and, well, they don't even need cogs. Batter Assault will do the deed. And after that kill, Vanscore should be able to bring Sexy Bambo back to the rest of the team.
Is this now getting close to the just stage of demoralization that you're just going to tap out? How many more fights can you lose this decisively before you're like, screw this guys, that this just ain't happening?
Well, it might be at that point, but there's no reason to throw in the towel just yet. Maybe Charmander can look for a miraculous high ground defense, but I think the bottom line is that even if they do hold out high ground, it's to what end? They have a safely farming Broodmaster, and although getting some aura items up for him is nice and all, the scaling damage isn't there. So at this point, I think if you're Charmander, you can just look at it and be like, this is probably not going to work out, but we might as well stick around and start planning for game number 2.
And we have double lag enemies as well picked up for 4 Clover, one for the Clockwork, one for the Queen of Pain. Do we have anything else? Mech being built on Vanscore, and never mind, has it finished as well? Will be delivered with Sexy Bambo's Aghanim Scepter. Also, the Aghanims will come out for a Yolin. Well, never mind, has it now? Or at least the gold, the parts for it. So they're getting the items, whereas if you look at Charmander, well, they have the Yule Scepter on Jakiro. They have the Mech and Blade Mail on Undying, which is nice, but they really don't have any decisive items that are like, oh, now we can kill, like, suddenly. If they can manage to get, like, Dagon level 5s on everybody, that might be nice.
It would be nice. If you could hand everybody Dagon 5s, I think they'd be in a really good spot.
Just bug out the game by buying Dagon 1, but it upgrades itself to level 5, but just for the level 1 gold.
I'm not even sure if that would be worth it, in all honesty, for Charmander. It's still a lot of gold invested in Dagons, although if that was the case, you'd be seeing Dagon a lot more. These items just don't really compare to, like, the Queen of Pain having an Orchid Aghanim Scepter. These are really big ticket items that help you fight, and for Charmander, it's not so much. They rely almost exclusively on having their ultimates online in order to fight, and then even then taking a 5-on-5 is very difficult. We have an Aghanim Scepter up 23 minutes in, the Visage is a hookshot initiation, jumps in mid, they'll find the Brewmaster, silence him up, and focus him down with the Soul Assumption. They'll lose the Witch Doctor as well on the sidelines. Bogdan sucking the cogs with a bear, and BZZ's gonna smack him down. Quonk is fighting like a champ, is going to be able to focus down Yol and punches him to death, but with 3 familiars up in the air, Quonk is not going to be living much longer as a hookshot kills off the Jakiro, and that's going to be a full 5-man wipe. All they lose is a Visage in return. And granted, that Visage kill is worth quite a bit for Charmander, but doesn't make up for the fact that, well, they're going to lose everybody and probably their base after the fact.
So that fight was maybe the thing that broke the back of Charmander, just because Io has surpassed the Brewmaster in farm now. And whenever there's a situation that the entire team has, well, the entire team's or any of the team's net worth is higher than the enemy, it's just so damn bad for you. It can't even be described properly. But Vanscore, I really like how he's solo pushing bottom lane. It's like, Io, I'm the best pusher 2015.
I mean, he's by far not the worst. You have the spirits to do a little bit of damage, you have a mech. You have more pushing ability than the heroes on the enemy's side, and that's saying something. Hookshot in, under tier 4's Bambo is going to find a Brewmaster and then force out and be just fine. In the meantime, they'll kill off the Undying, buyback from Quonk, trying to get back in this engagement. They'll use up Wagamama, but he's going to keep on surviving as BCC pops a 10-second BKB, another hookshot into Bogdan. He's going to be smacked down, although some heals from the Undying and a couple bashes on the BCC. BCC's dropping low and will die. But that's only his Aegis. They'll focus down the Death Ward, and that's doing a decent chunk of damage to Bambo, but forced down to the low ground, he's going to survive. They're going to get a Soul Rip off onto him, but with a little bit of Earn help coming out from the Io, looks like 4 Clovers aren't even going to lose anything except for that Aegis of the Immortal. It's a 4 for Aegis, and then you get the buyback on Undying to top it all off, and now a dieback on the Undying. Or maybe I'm counting my eggs a little bit too early. We're going to have Quonk fighting as best he can, but now the Sonic Wave smacking. That's going to be Queen of Pain getting a beyond godlike. They should be able to secure barracks here and probably game.
Yeah, it should be GG. I mean, 30k plus in net worth at the moment, and in XP as well. That is way more than a 1000 lead per minute. So they get those racks, they're gonna move over to bottom lane, and well, Charmander, they may even be able to get a couple of kills. The hookshot comes in, does not land because I think the blink of Ursa actually cancelled it somehow or blocked it rather. And now they might lose PCC, doesn't have the Aegis anymore in the macro fire, needs to get out, gets the mech by Vanscore but will still go down. Primal Split was used, they're still losing a couple of heroes the Radiant side, but they're holding on and well they're delaying this game out pretty much.
Yeah, and at this moment, I think that's about all that they can do. Maybe they can catch out Sexy Bamboo, that would be ideal, but nope! He's gonna hookshot out to his allies, and well, though Wagon's going to have a bit of a bruise, it's going to end up being worthwhile as Clockwork gets out to safety. Yeah, at the moment, although Charmander can fight for all they're worth at the moment, it doesn't really seem like it's going to be enough. Brewmaster does have a Vladimir's offering, which is nice and all, but he's also sitting on a hand of Midas, so even though he's out farming technically the IO, his effective items aren't even going to match up there. We have BKB now in the Queen of Pain, and I think this next push should be the one to put the nail in the coffin. I don't know, miracles do happen, but I don't think I've ever seen it come back from upwards of a 30k net worth and experience lead. Hookshot down towards bottom just to clear out creeps.
Yeah, it's not just such a lead, it's also the composition that the Charmander has, plus this lead is here so damn early on. I mean, later on it's like sometimes like 3 heroes are just holding on to 10k and not doing with it, and that's just kind of the lead for you, but y'all now does finish up the Solar Crest on top of everything else. So gonna make it even easier for just them to jump in, use it aggressively onto somebody, and Ursa will just chew through those targets.
Honestly, I don't think you use it aggressively. I think you just put it on the Ursa, and at that point, they can't do anything about him. The right-click damage coming out from the Charmander side isn't significant enough to give any single one of them mischance, in my eyes.
Well, I suppose so, but
The minus 10 armor
it's
is
just the minus
ridiculous,
armor,
though.
really, yeah.
Oh, minus armor or not, it looks like Jakiro's gonna get caught out. He's completely alone, but a hookshot in from the sideline. Sonic Wave lands on the 3. They're gonna start focusing on the Brewmaster. Maybe he can get off his split, but no, the Orchid Tick is going to go down. They don't even lose the Visage. Well, eventually they do, but he survived a lot longer than he should have. Ursa's going to smack down another gem on the deck, and a 3-for-1 trade. That was supposed to be their saving grace. Hookshot and Cogs bounce back. Will cancel a TP coming out from Jakiro, and there's nowhere for him to run. Is up in the north. They lose their Undying, and oh, GG Go Next comes out from Bogdan. I think rightfully so. 4 Clovers, and the beginning of the game, it looked very even, and Charmanders were able to hold their own, but once they won one fight, the snowball hit so hard.
It just kept on taking fights and kept on winning them as well, and not only barely, but just completely decisive. It's like, we lose 1 support, we kill 4, like, those trades were way too common here. But this is a best of 3 after all, guys, so we're gonna have at least 1 more game coming up. Maybe we're gonna have a just surprise comeback like we did in the previous series, but in any case, guys, hope you enjoyed. If you did, you can always follow us for more on HeflaTV, both Facebook and Twitter. For the casters, it's at Couchor for me, at GrandisV for my co-caster, and well, hopefully game number 2 will be starting in just a couple of minutes.